It's time for the Movin the Chains podcast. Your home for high school football coverage in the Palmetto State. Every team, every game, every week. And now your hosts, Kevin Thomas and John Epps.
What's up, guys? Kevin Thomas, John Epps here. John, huge week of football coming up.
Big time. Everybody wants to play a big game this year.
We've been talking about every week or about every day about there are literally 12 50 games you can go to that would be like a great game to go to. You know, we've narrowed it down to a shorter list and a couple we're going to look at here, but you know, appreciate you guys tuning in tonight for a huge week 4 preview show. Like I mentioned, like we're going to go through our games of the week, 4 or 5 biggest ones. We'll give kind of a statewide look, go through some of those games, and then we'll kind of get into maybe some of our pick'em stuff and some of our polls that we've seen come out and see who's leading that stuff. But John, let's hop right into it here with our with one of our biggest games of the week here, and that is a game that we may be going to. Still looking at that, Northwestern at Greenville, down at Serene Stadium. Last week, Northwestern had a 42-26 victory over Chester. Greenville beat JLman 31-2. What do you like in this ball game?
Yeah, I think Northwestern comes to the game, I think, a little bit as a favorite, being the 518, and the fact that they've picked it up a little bit. Mm-hmm. In week 1, or week 0, mind you, they got beat by South Pointe. They have bounced back since then. They blew out a Rock Hill team. Mm-hmm.
Greenville played close
between them and Greenville. Greenville had to beat on a waning seconds long field goal to beat Rock Hill. Then they smashed Clover at the beginning of the year. We thought Clover was pretty good after they beat Dorman. And then they had a nice victory against the Chester Cyclones last week, a game in which I thought Chester was pretty impressive. I was thinking, hey, Chester's pretty good, but they're about to get blown out again. Lost that game by 16. It was 42-26. I think Greenville's a bit of an upgrade from Chester, but I don't know that Greenville is good enough to beat Northwestern.
You know, and so talking about Northwestern here, I love the Madison kid at quarterback. He threw another 2 TDs last week. They're running back Quay Howard. They've got, what I like about them a lot is they've got multiple receivers, John. 2 guys last week, Watkins and Caldwell both went over 100 yards. McMullen and Jackson kind of lead that defense. But here's what does worry me about Northwestern. They've been in some shootouts. You know, that game they lost to South Point gave up, I think, 40-something points. And then last week to Chester, even though they held under 26 points, they give up 536 yards total offense to Chester. Oof. That's a ton. And we talk about every week about how talented Greenville is. That offense with Franklin and Holland and Kelly and Sapp and Brown and all those guys. You know, last week they dominated a JL man team. Franklin had 224, 3 TDs. Big game for those guys. You know, then on the defensive side with Whitner and Schuler and Gentile, they're going to be tough to beat. You know, and one thing I've realized, or I did in my research today, they've beaten 4 5A teams to start the season. And they're going to try to make it 5 this week. So
that's impressive. Hats
off on their non-conference scheduling there, but they have not been tested by an offense like they'll see against Northwestern Friday night.
No, you know, Rock Hill was a team that it was great for Greenville to beat them, but Rock Hill's just not a good team. 5A, sure, on the road, sure, but they're just not a great team. You know, Greenville, they proved they're good, but they haven't played in Northwestern yet, and that's gonna be the biggest test. I think they can play with them. I think they certainly have got the talent. You know, and I think the fact that seeing Chester be competitive with Northwestern last week, being able to move the ball pretty freely, that's got to give Greenville a ton of confidence. You know, let's not act like Chester is just some, chip off the old block here. You know, they've got Zan Dunham on that squad at Chester.
I think a 4-year starter at quarterback, I believe 3 or 4 years. So he's got a ton of football under his belt.
He's one of the best players in the state. So I'm sure that he had a lot to do with Chester, to move the ball as well as they did. So even though Greenville's got a lot of talent, Zan Dunham, something to be said for him too.
Yeah, so this game, being a home in Serene, I think is a big plus for Greenville. I think I've got to lean towards what Northwestern, that offense is playing so well right now with the Madison kid there. The defense gives me pause. I think, honestly, we're going to see a big shootout, John. I think we may be looking at a 42-35 type ball game, something like that, where both teams go up and down the field. This is going to be a good ball game and probably, maybe one of the most competitive in the state for sure.
I think so. If you want to break down Greenville and say, hey, what's Greenville really good at? Well, they're good at everything. But I think the offense a little bit ahead of their defense. I mean, I would agree with you. I think you got a better chance of seeing a 42-35 kind of game instead of a 17-14 kind of game.
Yeah, shout out to Darius, Rashodi, Jeff's in here, Jimmy's in here. Jeff comments on Flora Camden. We'll get down in a little bit here, Jeff, for sure. Get you guys tuning in on Facebook, Movin the Chains SC, Twitter and Instagram, Movin Chains. Podcast version always comes out, obviously, afterwards on Spotify and whatnot. But our second big game here, another one that kind of got put together a couple weeks ago due to some cancellations, but should be a whale of a ball game. That's South Florence traveling to South Pointe. You know, two teams that don't play a lot. South Pointe beat Shelby 51-37 last week, kind of a North Carolina team there. South Florence was off, had a game canceled against Lugoff that got canceled for them. But I'll tell you what, if you've not seen South Florence play, this quarterback, Lamar Sellers, is a sight. He's a UVA commit, a junior. He's got 13 TDs already on the season through 3 games, 10 passing, 0 picks. And he's got talent around him, too. They got McWhite interior running the ball, Singletary and Johnson at receiver. What worries about this team, John, is they haven't played a close game yet. They haven't played, you know, and they beat an Irmo team we thought was pretty good. They beat Irmo pretty handily. But they haven't been in a fight where they have to maybe have a nice drive late to win a game or whatever. So interesting to see how that's going to go because I'm sure South Pointe's going to play tough.
Yeah, you know, and I think for South Pointe, I think that's got to worry them a little bit because South Pointe's a great team, but you know, the same South Pointe team, they get 35 to Northwestern too. You know, they're not exactly been a lockdown defense against a really good offense yet, and they are going to come across maybe the best offense they've seen to this point. When you look at South Florence, yeah, they haven't played anybody great. They've played Bluffton, Manning, and Irmo. Irmo, a playoff team last year, a very solid Irmo team, but they have scored 49, 65, and 63. I mean, that is lighting it up.
Yes. That's going to be a great ball game. You know, on the South Pointe side, the running back Thompson's a good player. And then they've got a receiver, John Wayman Jenneret, maybe one of the best in the state in this class. Last week against Shelby had 203 and 2 TDs and a 64-yard touchdown pass on kind of a trick play there. The quarterback, McCoy, is a good player. I tell you what, I got to read you this stat line from their game last week. A.J. Miller, 4 tackles, 7 sacks. 7 sacks. When I saw that, I was like, it must be season stats. No, that was a single game, 7 sacks. I don't know if they were playing Olay defense or offensive line, but that's unbelievable. And I think, honestly, this game comes down to who gets a stop. Who can stop one another. You know, both teams can score. Same thing as with Northwestern Greenville. I think we're looking for a shootout. I'm just going to see who can who gets the ball last, who can make one big stop when it counts.
Yeah, and you know, keep in mind here, I don't think you mentioned Quan Patterson for South Pointe. He's a 3-star guy. He's going to be playing. He plays cornerback for South Pointe. He's going to be playing at Syracuse next year. Very, very talented player. For South Florence, going to be key. Hey, let's keep the ball away from that guy and spread out over the field. But you know, they're going to put Patterson on South Florence's best threat on the outside. So we'll see how South Florence can manage that. But I tell you what, I think I would like to go. This is another game we've talked about. I'd like to see this game and see how good Norse is at South Florence, because this is going to be a game where he can really be tested and you know, be what I think will probably be a close game.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to see, hey, he's great when you're up by 28. That's awesome. What about a 7-point game in the fourth quarter? How good are you?
Yeah, a couple mixed comments here. Rashodi says he's picking South Florence to win while Elijah's going South Pointe in a close ball game. John, I think just looking at this guy, I was talking to a friend the other day about this. You know, if you look at what we've seen so far this year, it's like South Florence is a wagon. Like, who's going to stop them? But then when you kind of think about some of the historical parts to it, where South Pointe, we know year in, year out, they're going to be a really good ball team. South Florence has had kind of some up and down years lately. So you wonder if maybe, you know, South Florence kind of flash in the pan. Haven't played anybody yet. I don't know. I think with it being at home over in Rock Hill, I'm going to lean to South Pointe, but in a close ball game, I think.
I'm going to go South Florence.
Okay.
I'm going to go South Florence. I think the fact that they've got what we think will be a shootout, I think South Florence got better offense.
That's true.
That's going to be a difference.
And, you know, I know you mentioned that good corner, but what makes it tough with that, with him, the Sellers kid being such a multiple, you know, dual threat guy, it's hard to go man-to-man because if you turn your back, he's going to take off and run for 40 yards. You got to play zone almost. It almost somewhat negates some of your stuff you can do, but he's a handful for sure. Comment here from Amy said, let's go Greenville. Amy, if you missed it, we started off with Greenville, so check us out later on the podcast version. Go back and listen to that. Should be a good ball game. Our third ball game here, John, I think this one actually has the maybe this or Northwestern Greenville has the, I guess, highest number of ranks. I guess if you add up the ranks, whatever, how you want to do it. That's Dutch Fork at Greenwood. You've got the number 1 team in 5A playing the number, think they're 2 or 3 now in 4A. Greenwood is, whatever. So really good ball game down there in Greenwood. Last week, Dutch Fork was off, didn't play a game. They only played twice this year. And I was reading about it that these kids won't go out there and play. Obviously, they had the tragedy they had to deal with. I think if they can get out on the field, this play is going to help them heal a lot, so they're going to be looking forward to playing this ball game. Greenwood, they had a big win last week in one of our games of the week, and that was Greenwood beating the North Augusta 31-7. That game was 7-all, and Greenwood rolled off 24 in a row to win that game. Dutch Fork, we saw them 2 weeks ago against Burns, John. The Patterson kid at QB is a great player. He throws a great ball, and he can also run very well. I think he ran for 2 or 3 touchdowns that game as well.
Yeah, he was very mobile.
And then, you got the running back, the Green kid's a beast. The receiver, Williams, probably the best one in the state in this class. Perry and Danley and Richards on defense that were flying over the field for them. While Greenwood, we've seen them play as well. The Rapley kid at quarterback, Martin and Still at running back. Tell you what, it seems like that defense is getting better. We saw them weeks ago against Hillcrest, gave up some bombs late, some things like that. But in the last 2 weeks, they've shut down a pretty good Catawba Ridge offense, and then shut down a pretty good North Augusta offense as well last Friday night. Interesting to see what happens when they play Dutch Fork. This is going to be. It could be a good ball game. I honestly don't know what to think about this one, John.
The more I think about it, we talked about this earlier in the week when we were just talking, hey, kind of want to go to that Greenwood game, see Greenwood Stadium. They got a great building down there. I'm like, gosh, I've already seen Dutch Fork, I've seen Greenwood, and Dutch Fork's probably going to blow them out. Mm-hmm. And I started thinking about it. I was like, I don't know. I was looking back at my notes right here from the Burns game we went to. Again, I want to stress, that game was 42-25 at halftime. Burns
and it felt closer than that. It really did.
It really did, because neither team could stop the other one. Mm-hmm. And Burns was getting the second half kickoff. Greenwood, I think, is better than Burns. Burns got knocked off by Woodmont.
Talk about West Side.
64-62.
Let's talk about a shootout.
We thought Burns was a little bit better than that. So I think Greenwood's going to be the best team that Dutch Fork has played thus far. Maybe the best team they play all year until they get to the playoffs. I think Greenwood's going to be able to give them, and I said I thought Burns would give them more of a fight. For the first half, Burns did. Burns did give them a fight. I think Greenwood's going to push it a little bit further, maybe into the third quarter, well into the third quarter, where that game's going to be competitive. I just really like the way Greenwood carries themselves as a team and a program. They don't seem to, the moment doesn't get to them. They let off the gas a little bit against Hillcrest, but they were in control the whole game.
They were. They were.
Yeah, Hillcrest, had they gotten an onside kick, but, had they gotten an onside kick? What's the percentage of getting an onside kick?
Yeah.
I think Greenwood is well suited to be competitive in this game. I don't think they win. I don't know if it's a one possession game.
Right.
I think they can be very competitive.
Yeah, and I feel like I say this every week because they've been in our teams or our games week about every week because they just, first off, hats off to the coach for this non-conference schedule. Okay. They play Hillcrest, they play Catawba Ridge, North Augusta, now Dutch Fork. I mean, you're hard pressed to find somebody.
And they're 4-0.
Hard pressed to find somebody with a tougher non-conference schedule than that all throughout the season. So hats off to those guys. But I say this every week. The triple option is tough to defend. If you don't see it a lot and you're not very, very disciplined, you can get scored on. I will mention, though, that, Dutch Fork has seen T.L. Hanna in the state championship twice in the last couple of years. So I wonder how much that helps them.
But how did they do in those games?
They won pretty handily. I mean,
they won, but those are some of the closest games they had played.
That's true.
The whole season.
True. Now,
you expect that in the state championship.
Yeah.
Still, how much better do you think T.L. Hanna was last year than Greenwood is?
That's true. I think the T.L. Hanna team, 3 years ago was Zach Pickens and those guys. That was better than the one they saw last year, I would think.
Yes.
But,
that was a very, very close game.
The thing about that offense, even if you're not scoring, if you can just sustain drives, you don't get blown out. Maybe you lose by 3 scores, but you don't lose by 7 scores or whatever it is. So I think I'm leaning Dutch Fork to win. Probably 2 scores, 3 scores, whatever. But it'll be an interesting matchup to watch for sure.
And, Greenwood, they obviously know what they're doing. Dutch Fork's offense, I think, is a lot better than Dutch Fork's defense.
Yes.
And a great remedy for that is running that option, just shortening the game if you're Greenwood. And if Greenwood can figure out how to move the chains a little bit, even if it's on third down. You don't have to get 10 yards on first down. You don't have to get on second down. For them, probably better to extend that game, try to get your first downs on third down.
Run that clock a little bit.
Obviously, you want to get as many yards as you can every play. But, Greenwood can do that and take a little bit of air out of the ball, keep that Dutch Fork offense off the field. And how often do we see at the high school level, even at the college level, where a team Look at Ainer. Ainer does it extremely well. Where, you play a team that's better than you. If you have a 6-minute drive, you can go down and score a touchdown.
Wears you down.
And that good team on the other end goes, oh, we got to score right now. We got to score right.
Yeah.
Teams start to press a little bit, and you can neutralize that talent discrepancy very quick. And I don't think the talent discrepancy is super wide in this game either.
We got Chris Blant here. He thinks that Greenwood loses by 35 or more. So that would be 5 scores. It could happen. It could happen. We'll see. I've learned to never underestimate Dutch sport.
I would take that line. I'll take that.
Greenwood the points. Chris also says Northwestern will beat Greenville. Coming from Mark Tyrell, of course. Curley said he's going to that Saluda Rayburn game Friday. That'll be a good one we'll get to in a little bit as well. Elijah Smith says he's got North Beach over Hartsville. Stephen Smith says Hillcrest over Bowling Springs. We'll get to both those games in a little bit. Stay tuned, guys. But now we've got one for Jeff Gordon Hare here, who asked earlier about AC Flora at Camden. That's our 4th game of the week here. AC Flora beat a previously undefeated Northwestern team 31-7 last week, John. And, that defense is good. We talked about last year how they lost a lot of firepower on offense and defense. The defense reloaded, and they were playing some ball there. Camden had a 27-6 win over Lakewood. And that's the team we talked about early in the year, lost to Gray Collegiate, a very good football team in week 0. They've reeled all 3 wins in a row since then. So they're starting to kind of hit their stride here. So a good 3A4 matchup here is AC Flora traveling down to Zemp Stadium to play Camden Friday night.
Yeah, and we talked about this after week 0 going, oh boy, I did not think Camden was going to beat at home by a TUA school by 20 points. Now we've realized Gray is really good.
Gray is very, very good.
They're good enough to beat top 5 5A teams.
Yes.
Gray is very, very good. So that loss doesn't look as bad now for Camden. But, as you said with this defense, Florida, they've only played 2 games. They've given up 1 touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
They shut out Sumter in that first game of the year in a defensive battle, won that game 13-0. I think the big thing here is, and I hate to see it, and we don't know all the facts around it, so we won't speculate, but as of right now, Coach Rimp not with the team.
I think he may be coming back. I saw a news article earlier about it, but it was kind of wishy-washy, so we'll see what happens Friday night. But interesting story for sure.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, Coach Rimp, great coach at Camden. He was put on administrative paid leave earlier last week, maybe a week and a half ago. May be back with the team, may not be back with the team. But he has been huge for that program. He has injected a ton of life. Not that Camden was a bad program, but Jimmy Neal is a little bit different of an attitude, old school. And then Rimp comes in, they're playing music at practice. He's a player's coach, got kids jumping around. So if he's not on that sideline, I think that's a big difference maker for the Bulldogs. And I think Ford probably just a little bit better than Camden right now.
Yeah.
I like the Falcons in this game.
Yeah, that defense is so good. And they've got the QB, the Phillips Daniels kid, played 2 years ago, took off last year, did some surgery stuff. He's a big-time baseball player. He can really sling it around. Crew Bates, Chris Lofton on offense, big-time playmakers. For Camden, they've got Halley and Ferguson kind of leading that defense. I know last week they had a QB injury, so I don't know what's going to happen with that. I think he had the guy left second quarter. I think they had a kid bring in. It was, I believe it was Bracey, possibly something like that. I think he had to come in and play quarterback for them. Played very well, obviously, in that win over Lakewood. Interesting to see if he's back, the quarterback, or what else can happen with that. Honestly, I think AC4 probably wins this game by a few scores, John.
Yeah, and even if Camden gets their starting quarterback back, keep in mind this is the first year he started.
Mm-hmm.
Their quarterback last year was very good, dual threat guy, 12th grader, he graduated. So Camden's still trying to work in really a completely different offense this year compared to what they had last year with Mr. Football.
Yep.
Running back. So I think Camden's going to be a team
football nominee. Sorry, yeah,
nominee. Camden, I think, will be a better football team at the end of the season than they are right now.
Yeah.
Just as guys get more comfortable and more experience in their starting roles. Camden's a team that lost a lot last year too. Flora, a little bit ahead of them right now.
Rashodi and Jeff both say Flora big. Kyle says he learned his mistakes. He's taking grades from now on. I agree, man. It's hard to bet against those. You got to see them in person. Elijah Smith said, even though Hartsville's 0-3, should be a good game in North Myrtle Beach. Yeah, that should be a very good ball game there. I want to shout out, like I said, Jeff, Kyle, Elijah, Mark, Brian, Paul, Chris, all you guys tuning in, Haley, Jimmy, thank you guys for tuning in. So if you have any comments, feel free to put them in the chat. We'll get to all the games we can. So definitely let us know what you think. And our 5th and final game of the week here, John, one for the little guys.
Yeah.
That's Great Falls traveling down to Lamar. This is going to be a very good ball game. Great Falls 4-0, first time since 2014. They defeated Hemingway 36-12 last week. They're averaging 37.5 points per game. Quarterback Zay Brown, 15 TDs, 7 passing, 8 rushing. 0 picks is the best part about that, I think, John. And then their athlete, Foxmore, has 9 TDs already. Lamar lost to your team of the week, Timberland, last week, 26-14. I believe that was on the road, I think. But either way, they lost to them. But they do have a good quarterback back, McManus, and the receivers, Anderson and Tony. This is a game where Lamar needs to, kind of reassert their dominance in 1A, John.
Yeah, and, I know Timberland's a 2A team. It's a little bit different. But, this isn't the Lamar from a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't the Lamar.
There's no Hamlins out there.
Yeah, there's
at
no
least
Hamlins running around.
At least not Michael or Marquise or Marquis.
Beating guys 63-10 every week. So I think they got their work cut out for them. But the thing that I don't know is, I don't know how good Great Falls is.
Mm-hmm.
But this is going to be a tough trip. I think Lamar is going to Great Falls for this game.
No, Great Falls going
Great
to Lamar.
Falls
Great Falls.
Lamar,
It's
okay.
homecoming for Lamar.
Okay. So that's going to be a tough trip for Great
That's worth at
Falls.
least 7 points right there.
So they said. That's what Vegas says. I think Great Falls might be the better team. The thing I like about Great Falls is you got these smaller teams. I say smaller personnel-wise.
Mm-hmm.
1A schools, you don't have a lot of guys playing football. I think the fact that they play more football is going to be big time. This is only Lamar's third game. I think that's going to be big for Great Falls. They're going to have, I think, a little more fluidity and continuity with their team and with those guys, and I think that's going to make a big difference in this game. And I kind of feel like Great Falls is the little guy. They're the new kid on the block in the top 10.
Yep.
Lamar has been there. So I like Great Falls in this game. Maybe I'm just trying to fool for one, but I like Great Falls.
I think I'm going to take Lamar. So does Rashodi here. Says Lamar wins home. I think I'm going to go Lamar as well. But like you said, John, so many great games. I know we've never narrowed it down to 5 there. We got more we'll mention here in a minute. But the Rashodi said Lamar. A couple more viewers in here. CJ, Elijah, Frank, thank you guys. Chris said he talked about Gaffney Burns yet. We'll get to that momentarily. That's another one we're going to chat about. It's a big-time game. Always a huge game there between those two. But I want to give a quick shout-out to our sponsors. First, to the George Agency. They've been serving the insurance needs of South Carolina for over 35 years. They're a full-line insurance agency concentrated in employee benefits and health insurance with an office in Mullins and Merle's Inlet. They can help you all across the state. They have clients in Greer, Rock Hill, Columbia, etc. So wherever you are, they can help. Call Bradley, Wayne, Richard, and the crew, thegeorgeagency.net. And then our newest sponsor here, John, the one you love to make the noise for, that's Secured Advantage Federal Credit Union. They have a clear purpose to improve the financial lives of their members. They offer much lower loan rates and don't charge the fees that other banks do. Whatever your personal journey, Secured Advantage is here to offer you smart financial solutions. Join today at securedadvantagefcu.com. That's securedadvantagefcu.com. Secured Advantage Federal Credit Union. Win at banking, thrive at life. Member NCUA. So 2 great sponsors there. If you guys need any insurance needs, call the George Agency. If you need any banking, credit union stuff, call Secured Advantage Credit Union. They will both help you out. Tell them the Movin the Chains boys sent you. John, let's get back into some games here. You have the statewide scores pulled up, or if not, I can run through the games real quickly we have in our pick'em and kind of talk through those, then we'll get to the full state if you want to do it that way.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, well, let's do it that way. So Chris says Great Falls by 3. CJ Pearson says, what about Fairfield Central versus Keenan? That one didn't make our pick'em. I think that Fairfield Central wins that game pretty handily, CJ. I think they're just a better team than what Keenan is right now. Even though Keenan is undefeated, I think Fairfield Central is probably better and probably wins that ball game. So one game here, John, the team that you saw last week, Brooke and Casey at Chapman, kind of a 3A, 5A matchup. What do you think happens in that one?
What, Brooklyn Casey Chapman?
Yeah, Chapin. Sorry.
I'll tell you exactly what happened.
They're playing all the chat teams. I don't know yet.
Seeing Brooklyn Casey last week, they were very, very impressive. A team with a ton of speed on that offense outside and at the running back level, too.
That Staten kid at quarterback's a player.
I don't know much about Chapin. I think they're a little bit overrated, honestly, in 5A.
Okay.
They haven't proved a ton to me. They beat a bad Lugoff Elgin team. That doesn't really tell me much. I think, and I've started to learn from my mistakes, too, and saying, oh, well, they're 5A, they're probably going to win. I think Brooklyn Casey, I think they probably win this game. I think they're probably a better team. I just haven't seen enough from Chapin to believe that they're really good, and I've seen Brooklyn Casey with my own eyes. I know they're good. And
this will be Chapin's second game in a week. They played Newberry Monday night. They were actually down later in the second half. Had to come back with about a couple scores. They've got the running back commit, the Bennett Galloway going to NC State. Good time, big time player there. Got the tight end Xavier. Can't think of his name. He's also a good receiver there for them. I think Chapin at home. I'm gonna go with the Eagles. I think to win that game. But should be a great ball game there. Next one, the one that Chris asked about, always a huge game, no matter the year, no matter if it's playoffs, regular season, no matter how bad teams are, how good the teams are, whatever. Burns at Gaffney at the reservation. Give us your thoughts, John.
Gaffney.
Is that it? That's it. Okay.
Gaffney.
Okay.
By at least 2 touchdowns.
Okay. Well, so I've seen both these teams play. I think Gaffney is the better all-around team for sure. I love those running backs. The Tyler Smith and Ken Littlejohn can run as good as anybody in the state. They're 2 very good backs. The QB Loftus has so much talent, but hasn't quite had a big game yet for them. See if he gets it this week with Huey and those guys out wide. But we talked about Burns in that game at Dutch Fork, how well Gabe Rogers looked, and how they could score on anybody. They hit the seam route several times. I don't know what's going on with Mac Long. I know he was out last week. Two or three other running backs also went out last week, so I don't know how healthy they're going to be. As they showed against Westside, they can't stop anybody. I think Gaffney's going to put up a lot of points. The question is, can Burns keep up? And that's why I think the X factor in this game, in my opinion, is Gaffney cornerback Marquise Bradley. Big-time player, get some looks from BT, a couple other schools here. If he can kind of shut down, Gregory or Imhoff, one of those guys outside, that'd be big for them. Then the linebacker Landon Bullock, his older brother, played a couple years ago. Really good player there, and I think he may have a chance to kind of shut down that seam route. It depends on how they defend it defensively, but that's been a great ball game. I think Gaffney wins by a couple scores as well.
Yeah, and I think Rogers is incredible. Mm-hmm. I think he's a great player. But the thing that also scares me about Burns is, I keep saying, hey, they were in that game. They were in that game at halftime. Dutch Fork made the adjustment on defense. Hey, we're taking away that seam route. Throw it elsewhere. Yeah. And Burns, either they just don't have that in their arsenal, mm-hmm. or they just didn't
adjust one or the other. I don't know. Yeah.
And we saw 15 and I think number 10 mm-hmm. for Burns. Good receivers, but their third guy, if they have a third guy, there's a third guy. The ball bounced off of him every time.
3 times at least. Yeah.
He could get open, which is great. Could not catch the ball.
Yep.
I'm just, again, Gaffney's a team that's not dumb. They know how to prepare. They know how to get ready for a game. If they take away that seam route, they make things a little bit tougher on Rogers. I think there's going to be too much on his shoulders to pull this team through.
Yeah, Chris says Gaffney by 21 or more. He says that they will shut down the seam route and they'll punch any running back in the mouth that tries to run it. Yeah, the Bullet kid's a big-time player. He's a good player. And, he had a pick, I think, and several stops in that Somerville game I saw. So I'm leaning Gaffney as well. We have a question here on the next game we're going to go to, actually, is Buford at Oceanside. Jimmy says, what do you think about that game? Most people think it'll be close, but he thinks Buford wins by 3 TDs. Jimmy, I think Buford's a better ball team. I think Buford, the Eagles, are a very good team this year. Oceanside, I had high hopes in the preseason for them. They didn't look great their first couple weeks. They lost, Butler out of North Carolina, and then lost to Gray Collegiate, North Carolina. But they have been playing well lately. They got a win over C. Murray 2 weeks ago. They played Myrtle Beach very tough last week. They're kind of trending in the right direction. But I agree, John. I think Buford's probably a better team by a couple scores.
I think so, too. I think this game might be closer than what Buford might want it to be. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it will be a close game. But I think Buford, I think they're better. And I know Buford's only played a couple games themselves. I don't know how many games they've got on their docket so far. The Oceanside have only played 2 games too.
Yep.
I think that really hurts, especially feel like the smaller you get as a school, that really hurts you not having those game reps.
Yep. Got a couple comments here. Buford big. Then somebody said Gaffney wins. A comment here from Minx that says North Augusta playing Lawrence at home Friday. What do you think about that one? I think North Augusta wins, and they need a win. They did not look great last week against Greenwood. Obviously, a good Greenwood team, but only scored 7 points. Was kind of disappointing for them. Lawrence is a good ball club, though. They've got the good quarterback, the Raw kid, can really play there. Big-time player. I think North Augusta at home has to pull it off, and they need that win, John.
I think so, too. I think Lawrence is better than they look. They've had a little bit of tough luck, or they've had a tough schedule.
Yeah.
They ran into a Clinton team that's been playing really good football. Mm-hmm. Lost that game really close. I think Lawrence is a good team. I think North Augusta.
Yeah, I like the running back DJ Curry a lot. I like the Gamble kid outside. The quarterback situation still kind of worries me. They're playing the Colston Brown kid some, and not Austin Harrell as much. I don't know what's going to happen there. Scoring 7 points last week, you wonder if you go back to Harrell. I don't know what you do there. I think the Yellow Jackets just have more talent than the Raiders, honestly, and I think they win that ball game there over Lawrence Friday night. Dadrian says Lewis will bounce back this week. We'll get to that one in a little bit, Dadrian, for sure. What's more comments coming in now? Jimmy says Buford's 4, and I think about to be 5-0, Jimmy. That's what we both agree on there. So
I think they're being able to play that, man.
I think they're about to go 5-0 there. John, our next one here I've got, this one is a team that maybe you don't usually see too much in the top 10. That's Ashley Ridge at Lexington.
Yeah, Ashley Ridge popped in for the first time in a long time since I can remember. I think they're the better team. They've played pretty good so far. And Lexington, a team you expect to be good. Just Lexington has not been much of a powerhouse last few years.
Yeah, I agree. I think Ashley Ridge wins that ball game as well. The next one here we have, this is a big-time rivalry game. Little guys again, John, 1A, 2A. That's Bamberg-Earhart going to Barnwell. Always a fun time when Big Bamberg gets together with Big Barnwell down there. They're playing in Barnwell. Tough place to play. I know Barnwell dropped the game early to Calhoun. Bamberg's played some great football. What do you think happens here between the War Horses and Bamberg?
I think Bamberg is about as good as they typically are.
Yeah.
I think Barnwell's about a step below what they usually
I agree.
are. I think Bamberg's still a little bit better. It should be a great game. Because Barnwell's going to be...
Barnwell needs this game. They need this game to get some momentum going into region play for sure.
Yeah. Certainly this is a game you circle if you're them. Hey, and this is the kind of game hey, we come out and we play good, this could really spark us the rest of the way.
Yeah, and Barnwell's played well on offense. I like the Sandifer kid at quarterback. I like the Pender kid out wide. That's going to be a great ball game. I think I'm going to go Barnwell at home. I seem to pick them a lot over the last couple of years. It's kind of bit me in the ass sometimes, but I keep picking them. But I'm going to go the War Horses at home. They got a comment here, so they're going Bamberg. Tough game. It is a very tough game to pick. I agree, and that's one of my, in our pick 'em, you'll see a little bit. That's one of the ones that I was really on a toss up on going between those two. But our final game here is one that Mark Tyrell Corley mentioned earlier. Rabun County out of Georgia at Saluda. This game is scheduled this week. Rabun County has a game you Carolina fans might know, or name a game you Carolina fans might know. Gunnar Stockton at quarterback. Former Gamecock commit. I believe now he's committed to, I think, Georgia. Going down to Saluda, a 2A team. We haven't talked a lot about this Saluda team. But they've played some very good ball this season so far, John. Do they have anything for this big Georgia school, or what do you think happens?
I would love for them to give Rabun County all they got.
Yeah.
I don't know how big that school is out of Georgia. I love Saluda. I think they're good. I hope they put up a fight. I'm just worried about, we know Gunnar. We know he's good. We don't know what else they got.
Yep.
I think they were on ESPN for a game last year that I watched some of, and they were pretty talented. They scored a lot of points in the game. I forget who it was that they played, another Georgia school. I hope Saluda makes it competitive, but I'm a little bit worried. For them.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Rabun County is probably a little bit better. But we'll learn a lot about Saluda this week for sure. Comments here. So, I was checking on that. So, I thought North Augusta did not play Lawrence this week, and they don't. North Augusta-Lawrence is next Friday night.
Okay.
Just got scheduled today because both teams are looking for a game, so that'll be next week. But comments probably still stay the same because North Augusta I don't think plays this week. So, anyway. So, Saluda's playing some good ball. We'll love them to see them play Silver Bluff. Another comment, Saluda defense will win this. So, hey, I'll tell you what, Saluda has impressed me this year. They had a down year last year after winning state back in 2019. That team seems to be on the right track again. So this will be a great ball game Friday night over there at Saluda. I know Mark's going to be there.
They've blown everybody out so far.
Yeah, so keep us up to date if you guys are at that ball game. That'll be a great one to check in on. Rashodi's also picking Saluda. So a lot of people going that way, but we'll see what happens when Big Bad Georgia and Gunnar Stockton comes to town.
They know more about Saluda than we do. So
That's right. John, hit us with some more statewide scoreboard, schedule for this week, and we'll kind of go through some of those as we get there as well.
Let's see here. I've got the scores from last week pulled up. Let's pull up the schedule for this week, though. All right, here we go. We've got Andrew Jackson, the Volunteers. They will be hosting Gray.
Cancel. Yes.
Not a bad idea for AJ. We've got Nation Ford hosting a school probably out of North Carolina, never heard of, George Washington High School.
Not aware of those guys.
We've got Rich Spring Minetta hosting Denmark Olar.
Rich Spring Minetta played a great game last week against was it Louisville? Whoever they play. Great game. Great offense. Anyway, continue.
We've got North Myrtle Beach and Hartsville.
Yeah.
That's going to be a big game. That's going to be a tough game for North Myrtle Beach.
Talk about a team that needs a win. Hartsville 0-3. You never said that at Hartsville.
Yes.
North Myrtle Beach, hadn't got to play a lot of ball yet because of cancellations. But that team has so much firepower. There are Freeman and Vereen and what those guys. I think North Myrtle Beach wins, but it's probably a closer ball game than you would think with just looking at 0-3 against 2 or 3-0.
I think so too. I think Hartsville's better. They're certainly better than most 0-3 teams are, but North Myrtle Beach just got too much going, I think, for them. Blythewood is scheduled as Conway.
Canceled.
Conway yet to play a game yet.
So Conway is playing. This is part of that region, the region down there on the coast, moving around their schedule. So what happened is, I believe St. James was scheduled to play Sumter. That got canceled, I think. So they moved some things around now so that everybody can play each week. So now Conway is playing another team. So Conway is playing. It's just the way they're moving these schedules. Schedules around is kind of how it's going to work out there. Richard said, yeah, Louisville played RSM. Yeah, so great game for RSM with the Lee Park kid last week. Ryan says, who's Saluda playing Raven County? Bill says Abbeville at Woodland. Abbeville wins that, and it's not going to be close, Bill.
Probably not. Strom Thurmond hosting Vicksburg Leesville.
Canceled.
Oh, that was going to be
that was when we had as our possible to be in the pickup. That's be a great ball, or would have been a great ball game as well.
Belton Honey Path hosting Broome. Lancaster will be hosting Pageland. Those two schools haven't played much. Pageland 1-1, and Lancaster just 0-1 on the year. Marion scheduled to go to Lake City. Liberty hosting 4-0 Powdersville. Like to see Powdersville go 5-0.
Hey,
and they certainly should.
This team, Thomas Wilkes and those guys can play some ball. If you haven't seen Powdersville play, go check them out. They're I think they're for real. I don't know if they're state championship good, John, but they're definitely contenders in the region, contenders to make the playoffs for sure.
They're no longer everybody's homecoming.
Yes, that is true.
Malden will be hosting Carolina Academy.
Malden should get an easy victory there.
Eau Claire hosting Louisville. So our tough game for Louisville. They'll get to cruise a little bit against a 0-3 Eau Claire team. Waccama's supposed to be hosting Georgetown. Somebody gonna get their first win. Goose Creek hosting Stratford. I miss Stratford being good. Stratford used to be really good, and they just haven't been around lately. Yeah,
comment here from Dadrian says Louisville's going to bounce back. They should have won that game last week. They were up 26-8 going into the second. Lost that game there. Big game for RSM and the Lee Park kid for sure. Patrick says, what's up, guys? Jumping in late. What's up, Patrick? Check us out on the podcast version or later on to hear about Gaffney Burns. I've got Gaffney winning by a couple scores. So does John. So it should be a great ball. I know you've got him 35-21 Gaffney. So I think the Gaffney wins as well. And sorry, continue, John.
We got Man hosting Pickens. Cane Bay will be hosting West Ashley. Hannah Pamplico hosting Mullins.
No, actually, Hannah Pamplico now playing Aner in what should be a good ball game. Should be a good ball game down there in the PD.
That'll be a very good game. That's going to be a tough one for Hannah Pamplico. As we said, Chapin hosting Brooklyn Casey. Dillon is scheduled to host Loris.
Dillon needs to get up and get on the field.
Yeah,
I believe they do play Loris, I believe.
I can't feel good about it until Dillon actually gets on the football field. St. James actually supposed to play Georgetown now.
That's what got moved around, yeah.
Bill
says Lawrence at River Bluff. That'll be a good ball game. I think Lawrence wins that. River Bluff in the past years has been good. This year, not so much, I don't think. I like the Raiders. I like the Raw kid. I'm going to go with Lawrence to beat the
I think Lawrence will win that game.
Yeah.
I think they certainly could. So Raven County is 2-1. So they have been beat.
Okay.
They have been beat. We've got Lakeview hosting Chesterfield. Rock Hill hosting York. Timberland will be hosting a 0-4 Bishop England squad. They should go 3-0. Dixie hosting McCormick.
Now I think Dixie may be undefeated as well.
I got him here as 3-1.
Maybe 3-1. They're playing some good ball right now.
Easley will be hosting Hannah. Darlington hosting Myrtle Beach. Timmonsville hosting Columbia. Riverside 4-0 hosting an 0-3 Southside team.
They should go 5. I think 4-0 first time maybe in school history. 5-0. They should get a win. We got some big stuff coming with those guys later on this week and next weeks as well. A couple comments here. Bill says, is Gilbert playing this week? I'm not sure we'll get to that one. Gilbert, big win over Hartsville last week with that late 2-point conversion there to win that ball game. Nick says Dylan Loris confirmed for now, so that's good to hear.
I think Gilbert is playing Sherrill.
Okay.
I'll confirm that here in a little bit. Hanahan is hosting Philip Simmons. We don't talk about Philip Simmons.
They have a good ball club down there. They do. They do.
Manning will be hosting Battery Creek.
Canceled. Battery Creek canceled.
Okay.
Their school had to, I think, go virtual or something now.
Ooh.
Yeah.
How about PD Academy hosting Thomas Sumter?
That is on, and the Eagles about to get another win.
3-0.
They're going to keep rolling.
No one's lost that yet.
They're going to keep rolling.
We've got Buford hosting McBee. That'll be a close trip for everybody.
I believe that got canceled as well. It did. On McBee's side.
Bluffton's supposed to host Wade Hampton in the lower part of the state. Pendleton hosting West Oak. Somebody looking for their first one in that one. Baptist Hill hosting Cross. Berea hosting Blacksburg. Union County hosting Greer. Union County 0-2. Also a pretty good winless team in Union County.
They need a win. Greer took it on the chin last week against a 1A school, Southside Christian, on Thursday night. Greer, we've said it all year, John. We don't think they're very good. They beat Westside, a depleted Westside team, 25 players a couple weeks ago. Lost big to Burns. Lost by a couple scores here to Southside Christian. I think Union County gets off the snide this week.
I think so too. I think Union County they probably win that game big. We've got Walhalla trying to play their first game, but they'll be playing Daniel.
Ooh.
That's gonna be a tough one.
Maybe we should get canceled this one too. I don't know.
Maybe that shit. I've got now. Is this game still on? Will Richland playing Chester?
Yes, I believe so.
That'll be a good game. Chester 2-2, but they're a good team. They
Yep.
play Northwestern very tough.
Yep. Bill says Union County big over Greer.
So,
I agree. So we got a comment here in Blue Ridge, Clinton. That Clinton team is good. They've had a couple years they've been down. They are a good football team. I think they're going to beat Blue Ridge handily this week, and they're a team to watch out for this year for sure.
Blue Ridge is not very good. And
No.
remember, Clinton beat Lawrence earlier
Yes,
this
Clinton's
year.
a good
that might be the
football
first
team.
game of the year.
Clinton's
Little
a good
rivalry
football
game.
team.
We got So Sherrall will be hosting Gilbert. Sherrall 2-1 so far. I think Gilbert's better though.
Yeah, Gilbert's going to win
I
that
don't know
ball
a ton
game.
about Sherrall yet this year, but I think Gilbert is.
Yeah, I like Gilbert now.
They're pretty tough. Let's see if we've got any other. We got Kingstree supposed to be. Well, I don't know. Is Kingstree going to play Marion now?
Good question. I believe King Street Marion's now the one on the schedule. There's some moving pieces there.
Fort Dorchester should be hosting Wando. Wando's 1-0. Ridgeview, they got 2 tough wins in a row. They host May River this week. A pretty good.
Canceled due to COVID on the Ridgeview side.
Okay, all right. So Ridgeview will get a break then. Wilson Elko is supposed to be hosting Midland Valley.
First home game of the season, I believe, for those guys.
Yeah, Wilson Elko, they've only played 1 game so far. Wade Hampton here in the upstate will be hosting Woodmont.
Woodmont, surprised, undefeated right now.
Yes, a
So-
3-0 Woodmont team.
Woodmont, we'll see what happens with those guys.
Yeah, we just have not talked about Woodmont much.
No. They haven't played any big schools yet. That's
Yeah.
hard to say, but they keep winning, so it's hard to go against them too much.
Silver Bluff hosting Midland Valley. That's again at Silver Bluff. They should win that one pretty easily. We got Berkeley hosting Somerville. Swansea hosting Airport. Somebody got to get a first win there. Aiken hosting Westwood. Richland. So Richland Northeast was supposed to host Keenan, but Keenan is now
playing Fairfield Central. So I'm not sure what Richland Northeast is doing.
White Mill is supposed to host South Aiken. Lee Central going to host Latta. James Island supposed to host the Irmo Yellow Jackets. And Palmetto on the schedule to host Wren. Crestwood's supposed to be hosting Marlboro County. And Chesney will be hosting Chapman. Chapman going to try to bounce back after
They need to
loss.
win.
Chapman uncharacteristically at 1-2
Mm-hmm.
starting the year right now. Wilson will be hosting West Florence. West Florence 3-0 this year. A little bit of surprise Wilson 0-2.
Yeah, they got 2 on the channel speaking of Goose Creek, so I don't know how good they are this year, but West Florence is like a real deal for sure.
Fort Mill will be hosting Lugol Belgium. Those are 2 0-3 teams that are not very good. Be interesting to see if anybody even goes to that game. Sox City will be hosting Carolina Forest. Also, 2 teams that just aren't very good this year. Carolina Forest, we talked about them more this year than we have any other year, and now they're not very good.
Now, I will say last week they had a huge COVID depletion there on the roster. So they didn't have a bunch of players. A lot of stars are missing apparently against Sumter, and they got smoked. But also,
but you know
I
what?
forgot about this. Go ahead.
Sumter's missing their 2 best players on defense too.
So that game, though, due to the way this region's working out, does not count as the region game.
That's right.
So they get to play Sumter again later on this year. Probably at full strength. We'll see what happens there. So hopefully Carolina Forest has some more help this week going into that ball game.
Have Seneca hosting Eastside.
Seneca, don't watch out now.
3-1 Seneca. 3-1 Seneca. Hunter Kenner Tyler hosting Wagner Sally. And Baptist Hill will be hosting Lake Marion.
That one may be canceled. I want to say I saw that on Baptist still earlier. I have to look and see.
And Whale Branch will be hosting Military Magnet. And that wraps up the alleged schedule as of right now for this weekend.
That's right. John, you want to run through the polls right quick as well? We'll do that. We'll get some quick shout-outs here.
Yeah.
Thanks to Chris, Paul, Ryan, Bill, Jimmy, Dadrian, Nick, all you guys tuning in. We appreciate you guys. Patrick, who else is in here? Vidarius is in here. Rashodi's in here. Brian's in here. Haley's in here. Brett's in here. Scott's in here. Thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate it. This is your first time. Like our video. Share it. Like our page. Tell all your friends. We do this every week. We do a preview show on Tuesday, Wednesday. Do a recap show on the weekend. Love to have you guys tune in and comment. We love it when we get the listener comments, viewer comments. It helps us keep the show going. So appreciate that. Also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Movin Chains. That's where we really put more in-depth stuff. You know, on Facebook we do the live show. We put the scores at the end of the quarters of the games we're at. That's about it. But on Twitter we're updating. Hey, this just happened for this touchdown. This game's canceled, whatever. So follow us on those as well. Appreciate you guys being here. Also, if you missed anything, check out the podcast version. It's on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, whatever you outlet tonight. It's the audio-only version. Also on YouTube. So you can find us wherever you want. And this video obviously will stay up if you want to go check it out, watch it again later. Bill said first time listening. Bill, we appreciate you, man. Like our page, like our stuff, and hopefully you come back. We appreciate the comments and love chatting with the viewers. So thanks for being in here, Bill. We appreciate it. John, you got those polls ready for us?
Yeah, we'll run through 1A first here. Number 1, Southside Christian. Number 2, Bamberg Earhart.
Yep.
No surprise there. Number 3, Whale Branch. Number 4, Lamar. Number 5, a tie between Blackville Hilda and Lakeview. 7th is Great Falls. Big game this week for Great Falls against Lamar. Number 8, Louisville. Number 9, Richmond Minetta. And number 10, Hannah Pamplico. Also with a big game against Enor.
Now, and see, that's what the polls. RSM literally beat Louisville last week. They're behind in the polls.
They should
So
be- they should be not.
what do
They
I
should be
know?
not.
What do I know?
In 2A, we got number 1, Abbeville. Number 2, Gray.
They took some votes away, didn't they?
Gray's got 3 votes now. And I tell you what, man, it's hard to bet against Gray.
I saw that
It's-
team firsthand.
Ugh.
KZ Adams, if he's
Ugh.
not the best running back in the state, I don't know who is. I mean,
Yeah.
that guy's a stud. Never comes off the field, plays both ways, plays kick return, all that stuff. That kid's a big time player.
It's the Pedialyte.
And we got a great interview. Check it out on Facebook and Instagram of us interviewing KZ after the game there. And then I want to mention this about I forgot what I was going to say now. Continue.
Gray's coach.
Grace coach. Oh, he had a quote for us too. He said there's a lot of talk before the game between him and Ridgeview about how it was a father-son matchup, but he thinks he showed him who the daddies were Friday night. And I have to agree. That was a good football team there. Great play, some great ball. And that's what I want to say. Hats off to the little guys. 2A Gray, 1A Southside Christian, both beating 4A and 5A schools last week. So they really kind of showed up there. Southside taking down Greer, Gray taking down Ridgeview. So great games from both those guys there last week.
That's why I'm going with some of the little guys this week. You know, hey, who cares what class you're in? If you're good, you're good.
That's right. That's right. Also a comment here from Mingsta. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. My bad, man. I'm sorry. It's a great coverage, guys. First time joining in. Thanks, man. Come on back. Brian says, thanks, guys. Yeah, come on, guys. We love having the comments here. But anyway, continue with the polls there, John.
So and this is pretty cool. I think this is shaping out to be a really, really good class.
Mm-hmm.
So we got Abbeville. Abbeville thinks, they think they can beat Bama.
Mm-hmm.
We got Gray, who they can beat just about anybody. I think maybe anybody.
I tell you, the worst part is they're both upper state. We're going to see them in the final probably, but I'm looking down the road and looking forward to being in that ball game for sure.
But then number 3, Saluda. Hey, is Saluda knocks off Gunner and Reagan County this week? Who's the best team in 2A?
And that'll be a matchup.
Who wants to play anybody in 2A?
We'll see that Saluda Abbeville game here in a few weeks, a region matchup there. That'll be a great ball game for sure. So
And then,
a lot of good 2A teams.
number 4, you got Marion. Nothing wrong with the Swamp Foxes.
Swamp Foxes are playing some ball as well with Coach Hennessy there.
Number 5, you got Silver Bluff. Don't want to play those guys. Number 6, all the way back at number 6, we got Barnwell. They have a chance to get a really big win this week playing Bamberg Earhart. I'm sticking with a little Bamberg Earhart, but that's Barnwell. Nothing to sneeze at there. Number 7, Andrews. Number 8, an undefeated Philip Simmons team. Number 9, Timberland after a big win against Lamar.
Yes.
And then this is just make a decision. We got a 3-way tie at 10th between Wade Hampton, St. Joseph's, and Christchurch. Pick one.
Whatever, yeah. Chris says he's got a question. He's going to wait till later in the year, but he doesn't want to wait. Chris, we're here, man. He's going to pop it out and let us know. If not, we'll get it later on from you.
Going to 3A, we got number 1 at Daniel, 2 Dylan. Hey,
Who hasn't played a game yet, but we'll see him Friday night against Florence.
get Dylan out of the top 3. They haven't played a game yet. They have a new head coach. We don't know what's going to happen with them. Number 3, we've got Camden. Number 4, Brooklyn Casey. Hey,
Moving up.
Brooklyn Casey's played a great football game Friday. Put them at number 2.
Yeah.
Or at least put them ahead of Dylan. Number 5, we got Chapman. Put them a little bit down.
Trending down. Hot seat.
6, Clinton, who we talked about, who's been really
Good
hot this
team
year.
there, yep.
7, Ainer, finally getting respect.
Big tank. Yeah, I know it's a 1A school this week, but Hannah Pimpo is a good ball club. We'll see how that
Very
goes
good.
for Ainer for
Very
sure.
good. Number 8, Gilbert, who's played well. Number 9, the Cheshire Cyclones. They looked good in the loss last week against Northwestern. And then number 10, you gotta love this, Powdersville. Now
Go
in the top
Patriots.
10.
Go Patriots.
Arriving. In 4A, number 1, AC Flora. Getting 1 vote, At number 2 is Greenville, rightfully so.
If Greenville beats Northwestern this week and it's beating 5A teams, give them half the damn votes. I don't care.
Give them number 1.
Yeah. But
And Florence got to play Camden this week.
that's true. That's
easy.
true.
We got number 3, Myrtle Beach.
Who finally got on the field last week, had a big win. Adam Randall, I think, had 200-plus total yards. We knew that offense could score. We knew that. The defense worried me giving up 30-something points to Oceanside. That kind of worries me a little bit against that Oceanside team. They gave up a lot of points. But Myrtle Beach, glad to see them getting back on the field, getting that team worked out.
Yeah. Number 4, we got South Point. Number 5, Greenwood. Greenwood is number 5.
That team's love. After they've beaten Hillcrest, they beat Catawba Ridge, beat North Augusta. Who am I missing? They beat somebody else. Woodruff, maybe one of those teams, maybe 96, something like that. But either way, that's 3 big-time wins for them.
Yeah, well, and, they beat Hillcrest on the road, beat Catawba Ridge on the road. That's pretty big.
Yes.
Number 6 is North Myrtle Beach. Number 7 is Beaufort. Number 8, South Florence, who is Green Area.
They got a chance to move up. Yep.
Number 9, Catawba Ridge. I don't
lose
know
one game, you fall off the map here.
I don't know there's 8 teams better than Catawba Ridge.
Yeah.
And then number 10, West Florence. They're having a good year.
I do want to hop into this one. We forgot this one earlier. Hillcrest against Bowling Springs. Stephen asked about it. I forgot about that. This is a must-win for Hillcrest. I know it's not technically, region play, must-win, yada, yada, yada. This team needs some confidence going into region play. They have took it on the chin a couple times against Spartanburg, against Greenwood. They didn't get to play last week because of COVID with Dorman's side, I believe it was. But Hillcrest needs a win. I think they get it. Bowling Springs is just not very good. I think Hillcrest wins by 2-3 scores.
Yeah, I think Hillcrest is a team that, again, hey, they have the ball bounced their way. They recover on onside kick. Maybe they get a chance to tie that game against Greenwood. That Dorman game, I thought that was a game that if they played it, I think they could have won that game.
Yep.
Spartanburg game's close. They do. I think they're a team. They get a little bit of confidence. They're going to be dangerous.
Yep. Bill says he'll be in the press box with the radio for the Greenwood game. Bill.
Oh, very cool.
Man, I don't know if you're a Twitter guy or not, or if you want to special here. We'd love to have you keep us up to date with some scores. You can just shoot us some, quick score on here on Facebook or Twitter. We'd love to have that from you. Chris, I see your question. We're going to get to it here in the 5A in a second. But, we'll get to it. But, yeah, I think Hillcrest must win. I think they beat Bowling Springs, probably a couple scores. Everyone can mention it. Judy, McFadden, Coldren, lots of playmakers. Got to stop. Got to play some defense.
Yeah, got to play a little bit.
Well, like defense. They can score. They're going to beat Bowling Springs by a couple scores at least.
Yeah, I think they win that game by 20.
Yeah.
Now we go to 5A. So Dutch Fork, obviously number 1. Fort Dorchester at number 2. Gaffney at number 3. Hannah at number 4. We've got Northwestern at 5. Big game there. Chapin at 6. Big game for them. Number 7, Ridgeview. Number 8, Dorman. I don't know how Dorman's in the top 10. I really don't.
Because their name's Dorman? That's how, John. That's. I mean, to be honest with you, they haven't beat anybody worth a darn yet.
They haven't. We got number 8 in 4A, South Florence. South Florence plays Dorman. I'm taking South Florence.
Yes, I agree with you there.
Who's number 8 in 3A? Gilbert.
Gilbert's not bad.
That could be a close game. That could be a close game. All right, onward.
Number 9.
Number 9, Ashley Ridge.
We'll see.
A game I think they'll win against Lexington this week.
Yep.
And then number 10 sneaking in, Woodmont.
Undefeated. Bill says he'll inbox us here on Facebook. Bill, appreciate you, man. We appreciate that. I want to talk about Chris's question here. Sorry. He said, does Gaffney have a chance to make it to really be and finally meet Dutch Fork? That's a matchup we've been talking about for years now, where we keep thinking that Gaffney's best team is going to get out of the upper state. I thought last year with Andre Lindsay and those, because I thought they were going to be there with Pace Hour and those guys. Didn't quite make it. Fell short with TL Hannah. I think a couple years ago they lost, obviously, I think maybe to Burns in the playoffs or Dorman.
Maybe Northwestern. I think because Northwestern made a deep run, I think, 2 years ago.
But tell you what, so far, Chris, I think Gaffney's the best team of the upstate I've seen as far as 5A. I think we'll see Northwestern this Friday night, so we'll see how that goes. I think Gaffney is probably the favorite in the upper state, with maybe Northwestern is kind of a 1B type situation right now.
I think the biggest thing right now for Gaffney is win your region.
Yeah.
Because if you – and the way the playoffs work, it's so big to win your region, get that home field advantage, and then, who you get matched up with in the playoffs, because – I think Gaffney, again, they are probably the best team in the upper state. But, gosh, say something happens. Say you lose to Burns this week. We know what's the classic rule with Burns Gaffney? Whoever wins the regular season game loses them in the playoffs. If Gaffney stubs their toe and does not win the region, they may have to go to Rock Hill and play a Northwestern team in the second round.
Yeah.
That would be bad news.
Now I think they do win because they remember they're in that kind of weaker region now where they're just with Bowling Springs and the Rock Hill team. So I don't think he's going to challenge them really in that region. Are they in the region with Northwestern? Chris, I can't remember if they're in that. That'll be a great ball game.
I will check on that.
But either way, I think they're probably the favorite that I've seen. They're much better than Burns, I believe. But we'll see. Bill says Gilbert should be ranked higher than 8. They said if they had a kicker in selection, they would beat Lexington a couple weeks ago. Yeah, Gilbert, I think, is a team trending in the right direction. I agree with you on that. And Bill, the more you tune in, the more you'll learn this about us, is that we don't necessarily trust these polls. We have some qualms with them a lot of times because it just doesn't make sense to us sometimes. I mean, it's not sure the voters' problem because, they only see who they can see. But a lot of stuff we think just doesn't make sense. Like I just mentioned RSM and Louisville. They played each other last week. RSM wins, and they're behind Louisville. But whatever.
Yeah, you have a team that hasn't played a doggone game yet is ranked number 2 in the state.
Yeah.
No.
Chris says they're Region 3, Northwestern Rock Hill Region 4. Okay, so yeah. They're the big dog in that region. Gaffney is for sure. Bill says he agrees with the polls. Thank you, Bill. We appreciate it.
The only other big team, really, you got Clover in that one,
who we think is not great anymore. We thought they were week 1 or week 0, but now they're falling off.
Yeah, and then you got Nation 4, Fort Mill, and Bowling Springs. They are. Nation 4 has a good quarterback. He's
Carson
an 11th grader,
a
young kid, but Fort Mill is awful.
Yeah.
Bowling Springs is awful.
Yep.
Nation 4, they're not good.
No.
Clover's the only thing that could challenge him. So, hey, that's a great summer gap.
Yes.
Great summer gap.
So, I want to shout out here our Pick'em, John. We've still got this going on. If you guys hadn't joined our weekly Pick'em, be sure to do that. We posted on Facebook. We actually posted it earlier today on our Facebook page. We do 10 games a week. You pick your 10. We drop their lowest score end of the year, and the winner of the end of the year gets a prize. So, definitely want to get in that. Here's who's leading this right now. Our week 3 winners. Congrats to David C. and Rashodi B. Both went 9-1 last week. That's a strong week there, John. I went 7-3. You went 8-2. So big week for John as well, bouncing back there. So lots of good scores last week. Some 9-1, some 8-2, some 7-3s there in the top 10. But hats off to David and Rashodi. And if you look at our overall leaders, we've got a 4-way tie for first between Kane, Curtis, Ryan, and Tyler, all at 23 there. So that's some great scores so far. And like I said, we're going ahead and dropping your lowest week, so that's why maybe your numbers may be off once you think. We dropped a few. I'm sitting there at 23 as well. John, you're at 18. It's really anybody's game still. We've still got 7-8 weeks left of the season, so you don't want to forget to make your picks. Get in there and keep that going. We'll have a prize for you at the end of the year. But yeah, hats off to Kane, Curtis, Ryan, and Tyler right now at 23. We got Trevor, Charlie, and David at 22, and then Jack, Mark, Kyle, and Kyle all at 21. So lots of good picks, lots of good participation. Appreciate you guys for that. So make sure you get those picks in by 7 o'clock on Friday. If you want to invite a friend, do that. I'd love to have some more people in here. Chris said pick like crap last week. Yeah, Chris, it wasn't your best week, man, but it happens. It happens. Rashodi said nice. Yeah, Rashodi, you're right there, man. You're right in the thick of it for sure. John, any other comments on the pick'em here?
I'm glad to finally. I think last week I might have been 6-4 or something.
I think so.
It's good. I thought I was going to go 5-5 every week.
Very consistent.
Just
very
flip
consistent.
a coin.
Yeah.
Now I'm starting to figure out, see who can play ball and who can't.
Yep. One more shout out to our sponsors here, the George Agency, serving the insurance needs of South Carolina for over 35 years. They're a full-line insurance agency concentrated in employee benefits and health insurance with an office in Mullins and Murrells Inlet. They can help you all across the state. They have clients in Greer, Rock Hill, Columbia, etc. So wherever you are, they can help. Whether you're a small business owner needing insurance for your company or whether you're a seasonal worker needing insurance for yourself, whatever it is, give Bradley, Wayne, Richard, and the crew a call. Check them out at thegeorgeagency.net. That's thegeorgeagency.net. And then our second sponsor here, John, Security Advantage Federal Credit Union. They have a clear purpose to improve the financial lives of their members. They offer much lower loan rates and don't charge the fees that other banks do. Whatever your personal journey, Security Advantage is here to offer you smart financial solutions. Join today at securityadvantagefcu.com. That's securityadvantagefcu.com. Security Advantage Federal Credit Union. Win at banking, thrive at life. Member NCUA. So check out our great sponsors here, Security Advantage Federal Credit Union and the Georgia AC. Tell them the Movin the Chains boys sent you. And they may hook you up. I can't promise it, but we'll see what happens there. But if you guys tune in, like I said, I saw Bill and some other guys for the first time. Like our posts, like our page, you get notified every week. Do this every Tuesday, every Wednesday, the preview show. Love to have the conversation going. This has been great, John, I let you, but it makes it much easier when we're having to answer questions or kind of going through games like that.
Helps me learn too, because like if we can't go but 1 or 2 games a week, and I say 2. If you go to a game and I go to
that's 2.
That's 2. But it's good to hear what's going on at the other part other parts of the state that we can't get to.
For sure. And also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Movin the Chains under John's name. There you see it. We have a few more updates throughout the week and things like that. We'll put some videos on Instagram and Twitter as well. Some of the coaches' quotes and things like that we got. So that'll be great for you guys to check out. We also the podcast version, audio only, comes out later tonight, first thing tomorrow on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all that stuff. Also on YouTube, the video session on Facebook as well. So if you missed it live, it's okay. You can go back and watch it later, check it out later, whatever. We'll still be here for you. And also, Sunday, you're starting a recap show. We're going to do some of that stuff. I know John's trying to get involved. We got another guy helping us out too with some recap stuff. So we're not only doing previews, we're doing recaps for you as well. So definitely get on in with us on that. And John, I think we're probably looking at either Northwestern Greenville or South Florence, South Pointe. Still kind of up in the air on that. So we'll be at one of those games. If you guys are there, come say hey to us. Love to see you. Love to meet you. But John, I'm just super pumped for what is the biggest week we've seen so far this year.
Yeah, it's great to have the slate of games that we have, and thankfully that a lot of these games are right here in our area too, within an hour and a half away. So that's really good stuff too. I wish we could multiply and go to a couple of games Friday.
I know we need like the national TV coverage. We need 4 different ESPN versions to check out, but. Should be a great Friday night. If you're at a game, let us know. Send us pictures, videos, comments, whatever. Love to keep up to date with the scores that way. I know Patrick does a great job about that. Appreciate that from him over at Gaffney and things like that. But for John Epps, I'm Kevin Thomas. Moving the Chains Week 4 preview show, and we will see you guys next week.